gon' bust your head. I'm gon' bust your head. I'm gon' bust your head. I'm gon' bust your head.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, once again from the 14 Gardens here in El Monte, California, SparStar Promotions is proud to present the next bout of the evening, scheduled for 3 2-minute rounds of action in the featherweight division, and being sponsored by Team Roadhouse, Validated Center, and Gone 3. Your 3 judges stateside should the bout go the distance are Chris Crail, Paul Gift, and Jackie Dagan. And the man in charge of the action at the bell, your referee, Mike Bell. Fight fans, here we go. Introducing first, fighting across the cage out of the red corner to my left. He's a freestyle fighter, standing 5 feet 8 inches tall. He weighed officially at 145 pounds even. Tonight, he makes his debut representing a Millennia MMA and fighting in Chino Hills, California. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing Galdino Ibarra III. And introducing his opponent, fighting across the cage out of the blue corner to my right. He's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu style fighter, representing Nubian's MMA, standing 5 feet 7 inches tall. He weighed officially at 145 already pounds. Tonight, he enters the cage, 0 wins with 1 defeat. Ladies and gentlemen, from South Los Angeles, California, here is Buddy Banks. Once again, your referee in charge, Mike Bell, to give the final instructions.
All right, gentlemen, you've got instructions backstage. Prepare yourself at all times to obey my commands. Also, if you want to touch gloves, touch them now. Let's select the both of you.
All right, here we go. Galdino Ibarra III from Millennia MMA up against Bobby Banks from Nubian's MMA. Banks in the blue, Ibarra in the red. Banks opened up with a nice jab to the midsection there of Ibarra. Both fighters thinking leg kick on that one.
Good little clinch there from Ibarra, landing some knees.
Landing some nice knees. Banks was billed as a jiu-jitsu fighter. We'll see if he tries to get this fight to the ground.
So Ibarra pushes him back into the cage, keeps digging to the body.
And he's got an overhook there, but doesn't seem to want to do much with it other than to pin Banks up against the cage and maybe just pepper some body shots. Getting some nice knees. That one looked semi-low.
So he continues putting in work to the body.
Yeah, very nice knees from Ibarra. Now he's dropping down for a single leg here. Banks with a nice whizzer defends. Referee Mike Bell letting fighters know they need to stay busy or he will reset them in the middle. And he does. We get some separation from Mike Bell. So far, Ibarra seems to be the one with the advantage in the clinch.
Banks there attempting to land a 4-punch combination.
Yeah, he went to the body and then faked low and went high. Was unable to land. There's an illegal knee to the head. Mike Bell's going to warn Ibarra. Banks no worse for the wear. Banks now pressuring forward with a nice left hook.
Come down to the final 10 seconds of this first round. Sees Banks coming forward, landing a big hook right there. And round 1 is in the books.
Action-packed first round. Fairly even. I mean, Ibarra controlled the action up against the cage, but Banks was pushing forward after that, landed some nice shots. Of course, Ibarra had a lot of knees landed.
That is being sponsored by Team Roadhouse, Validated Center, High Performance Mills, Sniper, JT Media, Gone 3, YTAP Let's Fight, Turf House, Bomb Rush Bowlings, Hybrid Boost, BFB, Bullseye French Bulldogs, and Paul Hernandez, State Farm Office, La Mirada. Once again, thank you to all of our sponsors for helping to make tonight's event and every event possible. Thank you.
Here we go, round two. Both fighters look relatively fresh. Got those first round jitters out.
Both fighters touch gloves. Bobby Banks digging to the body right there. Missing a big hook though.
Switching to the southpaw stance, throws that left kick to the body. Landed a little low, but
see Ibarra pressing forward. So Brooks obliging. Or Banks, excuse me.
yeah, Banks likes ducking that head and throwing that left hook. Eats a knee to the body there as he ducks in.
Banks though got to be careful for all the punches that he is throwing. He is leaving his hands a little bit down though to be countered.
Yeah, he's mixing it up. He's switching from orthodox to southpaw and back and forth. But Ibarra is staying just out of range. Banks has not been able to connect real cleanly in this round.
And if you're Ibarra, this is the exact position you want to have Banks in, seeing the type of work that Ibarra did in round number one with the knees.
Yeah, exactly. He looks very comfortable pressing the opponent up against the cage and landing some shots to the body. Staying busy enough so that Mike Bell doesn't separate him. A second ago, he reached down for a single leg and it was stuffed. I wonder if he wants to get this fight to the ground eventually.
Both fighters in the clinch right now. Ibarra, though, busier fighter, just landing a knee there.
Yeah, Banks,
so he has double underhooks.
And Banks' corner imploring him to get off the cage, but doesn't seem to have an answer for the underhook of Ibarra.
Little knees there to the knee of Banks as well. Banks, though, fights his way out of the clinch. Presses forward, lands a big right hand. Coming to the end of round number two. Just missed him by a smidge there.
Ibarra swinging for that home run with that right leg, just misses at the end, but that round's probably going to go his way considering he controlled most of the action up against the cage.
Banks, though, needs to have some type of answer when Ibarra presses him against the cage and has him in a clinch. He needs to do something.
And you hear the corner of Banks instructing him to strike against the cage, but it would probably suit him to get off the cage first and then try to strike as opposed to countering up against the cage. It really limits your mobility. Hard to generate a lot of power too, if your back is flat against the cage. But he didn't take much damage. He did well defensively.
Banks, though, I think landing the biggest punch of this whole entire fight there at the final frame of that second round.
Right.
Big right hand.
Yeah, final round.
Round number three here in El Monte, California. The final round, which sees Bobby Banks in the black going up against Galdino Ibarra. Marcos Villegas here on the call with Kevin Widows. SparStar MMA. As we see Bobby Banks getting in that clinch position, but fighting out of it again. But you can see Ibarra little by little pressing forward to try to get him back in there. Though he eats a big right hand right there.
Banks doing a nice job of moving in and out, and a lot of these hooks are just missing. Ibarra, though, again, in on that clinch. Let's see if he tries to put him on the cage again, and he does.
And if you're Banks, you must be thinking, man, I could be down 2 rounds so far. I need to get out of this position ASAP.
Yeah, I've got to imagine that his corner told him that he's probably down 2 rounds and that they need to finish. He's too content with being up against the cage here. He really needs to circle out and get this fight back to the center of the cage where he had some success with his hands. Ibarra now in on a takedown. But Banks doing a good job with that overhook.
Good three-punch combination by Ibarra there.
About 50 seconds left in this round.
As Banks attempts a haymaker to try to change something. Maybe sensing urgency that he is down 2 rounds so far.
Banks really trying to go for it here. He's got about 30 seconds to make something happen. And now it's Banks with Ibarra up against the cage.
Digging to the body, Banks is landed a good punch there.
Oh, but he gets reversed and finds himself up against the cage again.
Seemingly with 15 seconds left. Not the way you want to end the round there if you're Banks.
No quit in Banks though, as he's trying to fire back and score some last second points here. Lands three nice hooks in a row. Beautiful job by Banks to keep it pushing here at the end of the round. Will it be enough in the eyes of the judges? Ibarra with his hands in the air feels confident that he will get the nod.
As we now await the judge's decision, Ibarra being extremely effective in the clinch. And that's going to weigh on the eyes of the judges, I think. The work that he did there in all 3 of these rounds is going to make for possibly the scores going in his favor.
Yeah, I have to agree. He controlled most of that fight by having Banks up against the cage and landing some nice knees to the body. Banks did land some nice shots to the head there sporadically throughout the fight, especially towards the end of round 3. I don't think it'll be enough in the eyes of the judges. However, I've been wrong before. But either way, great effort from both of these fighters. I look forward to seeing both these guys back in the cage. I like the way Banks really put the foot on the gas there at the end. Nubians MMA always bringing game fighters to SparStar. Of course, Millennium MMA, no shortage of talent in that gym, as I mentioned at the top of the fight.
Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for both of these warriors. 3 exciting rounds of action. And to the judges' scorecards we go. Chris Krell sees about 29 to 28, while Paul, Giff, and Jackie Dakin both see about 30 to 27. Declaring your winner by unanimous decision. Out of the red corner, from Chino Hills, California, Galdino Ibarra III.
There you see Galdino Ibarra III victorious here in Almani, California. Getting a unanimous decision against Bobby Banks, improving his record now to 1-0. As Bobby Banks falls to 0-1. Scorecards reading 30-27, 29-28, and 29-28. Kevin, I would say that we're in agreement with those cards. I felt that Galdino won all those 3 rounds.
I think that's a fair score, and hats off to both fighters. It seemed to be the work against the cage and the body shots that won that fight for Ibarra.